Hello everyone. Good afternoon to all the enthusiastic students of RDPS. I hope that you all are fine and secure at your respective places wherever you are during that lockdown period, as we are well aware of the fact that the lockdown continued for more than 1.5 months. So we the teachers are not able to get the scope to interact with you all in the classrooms. So we have to present the study materials in the social media so that the process of teaching and learning is not discontinued at any cost. In this video, I am going to discuss about the short tricks and basic concept of using the modal verbs in English grammar that would help you to gain a mastery on the language. Watch the video till end. After discussion, all the functions, examples and rules, I will provide you a worksheet to judge how far you have learned all the things from the video to test your understanding capacity. Before we start the main content, let us understand what is a modal verb. If we talk about the definition, then it would seem like a modal verb is a type of auxiliary verb that is used to indicate modality. It means that the modal verbs are used to indicate the mood and manner of the main verb. Now, sometimes students remain confused with the naming part because modal verbs, auxiliary verb, and helping verb are not different, they are same. Only the calling of the same thing is different. So don't be confused with the name. Now, in what sense we can use the modal verbs? It can be used to refer likelihood, ability, permission, request, capacity, suggestions, order, obligation, or advice, etc. So these are the functions that a modal verb plays in a sentence. How the modals are different. Here I will be discussing that what is the difference between a modal verb and the main verb. Number 1, they don't use an s for the third person singular number. As in English, we used to write the yes or yes form with the main verb whenever we find the subject is in third person singular. But here, whatever person is of the subject, there will not be any change in the modal form. Number 2, they make questions by inversion. It means that any of the assertive sentence where the modal is used, we can turn the sentence into interrogative form. For example, she can go. We can make this sentence into can she go. Number 3, they are followed directly by the infinitive of another verb without to. Means the modals can also be used without to. Means they are not dependent on any infinitive. Let's have a look into the function that a modal can play in a sentence. A modal auxiliary verb gives information about the function of the main verb that it governs. Earlier in this video, I have talked that the important role that a modal can play, it is all about telling the mood and manner of the main verb. So, modals have a wide variety of communicative functions it is used directly for doing any kind of communication to make it more attractive, but these functions can generally be related to a scale ranging from possibility to necessity. Then, what are the models in English? Primarily, in this video, we will try to give the focus in the main models that are widely used in English grammar, English sentences. These are of, can, might, shall, must, could, ought, would, should, may. If we classify the models in terms of tense, then it would be like present tense and past tense. Can, will, may, shall, these are of present tense, while could, would, should, might, these are belonging to past tense. Now we will do the comparative study of can and could. Can is used in present form to mean ability. I can speak Chinese. Similarly, could can also be used in the past form. For example, he could swim well when he was 10 years old. In the form of present to mean possibility, one wrong move can lose the whole game. While we are referring the could into past form to refer possibility, the sentence would be a lot of employees could be fired. Similarly, if we want to take permission from any of the person informally, informally refers to that not so seriously. If you need, you can take my car. Similarly, if you are giving respect to a person in front of us and doing some kind of permission or taking it by a polite way, then it becomes could. For example, could I open the window? While talking about request in an informal way, can you give me a hand? The same request, if you are taking it politely, then there must be the use of kindly or please. For example, could you please open the door? Similarly, offer to taking the help from anyone. How can I help you? Similarly, giving the suggestion to a person. You could call me whenever you want. In both the sentences, the last one function that I have referred here, can is used for offering help and could is used for giving suggestion. Now come to the use of will and would. Will and would. Will is the present form while would is the past form of will. For request, formal and informal one is there. If you want to do any informal way, then you have to go for will, while formally you have to go for would. Will you help me file these papers? That is informal request. If the same request is done in a formal way, then it would be like, would you please turn on the light? If you refuse in the present or future tense, then will is used. He would not share his potato chips with me. Means here is a strong sense of refusing anything, refusing to do any of the act, and by the side would, refusal, but only referred to in the past, the things that already happened. I would not eat vegetables as a child. Offering something, present and future tense it is used. I will help you carry your groceries. While talking about the habit that had already happened in past, would is used. For example, I would bike to work almost every day. Now, here the speaker is talking about a past habit. That's why would is used in that kind of sentences. Now, let us understand what may and might tells us about their usage. May to refer possibility, but that possibility is of higher possibility, means that is beyond expectation. For example, she may be at home. Here the speaker wants to mean that the chances of staying of her at home is higher than the expectation. Seeking permission or taking permission, may I sit here? Giving permission, yes, you may go now. Request, may I have the bill please? So with the help of please, you are requesting the person who is in front of you that you need something. In the case of wish, only may is used. For example, may God bless you, may you be both very happy. Sentences like that, where may is used only, then it refers to wish. While talking about the might, it also refers to possibility, but in past tense. He might like playing basketball. Permission more formal. Might I ask you a question? If you are asking a question formally, then you have to go might instead of may. Giving suggestion. You might try my cheese cake. Request more formal. Might I borrow your book? If you are going for any condition, if you worked hard, you might finish it. Means here you are adding a condition by using the words like if. So that is the part of the things may and might. I hope that till now whatever things we have discussed, it is very much clear to you. Now let's move forward. Now shall is playing four different functions. In the first person expressing the future tense, as we know that in the first person singular number and plural number, in simple futurity we use shall after I and we. For example, this time next week I shall be in Scotland. Number 2, expressing a strong assertion or intention. Intention here refers to desire. They shall succeed means the person who is the speaking, he is expecting something great. Third, expressing an instruction, command, or obligation. Every employer shall take all the practicable steps to ensure the safety of employees. Here, shall is used to give a kind of restriction as well as instruction. Number 4, used in questions indicating offers and suggestion. If you are requesting or telling someone or giving some suggestions, then shall is used. For example, shall I send you the book means here you are indicating offering the person that you should send the book or not. Should is used to indicate obligation, duty, or correctness, typically when criticizing someone's action. The person who is in front of you, you might not be very satisfied with his action, so you try to make the person realize his duty, his correctness, so by which you are giving a suggestion. For example, he should have been careful. You should plant trees. You should speak English in the school campus. So all the three sentences are used for should because of making someone understand his duty, his responsibility. Number two, indicating a desirable or unexpected state. Now, while we are talking about these things, by now pupils should be able to read with a large degree of independence. Means the things that is referred here in that sentence is a expected and desired. Number three, use to give or ask advice or suggestions. If you are giving someone advice or suggestions, then you can also go for should. You should go back to bed. Number four, use to give advice. I should hold out if I were you. Now, one important thing you can find out, and the last example here, I were you. After I, instead of was, where is used. But that is also a reason. There is also a reason. The reason is that it refers to our continuation of wish that we want to fulfilled. So here I were, it refers to that someone wish is to be fulfilled. Now must is used most commonly to express certainty. It can also be used to express necessity or strong recommendation, although native speakers prefer the more flexible form have to. Now, most of the speaker they are comfortable with using having to instead of must, but the difference between should and must is that in should you are making someone understand his duty and responsibility, while in must you are telling that you should have to do it compulsorily. That is the difference. This must be the right address. Here certainty is expressed. Student must pass an entrance exam to study in at that school. Here necessity. If you want to study in this school, then you have to pass the entrance exam. You must take some medicine for that cough. Here strong recommendation is being done. The doctor is giving a suggestion or recommending something, the recommending the medicines that if you want to get fit, then obviously you have to take that medicines that are prescribed for you. Last one, Jenny, you must not play in the street. Here prohibition. You are making, you are telling someone that it is not, it this kind of act should not be done in the street. So you are doing a kind of prohibition. Used to, we can use used to talk about our past habit or state, anything that had happened in the past. If we are talking about all those things, whether it is of habit or state, then we go for used to. For example of a state, he used to live in London. Now you can find out that this sentence is telling that वो लंदन में रहता था. Right now he doesn't live in London. अभी वो लंदन में रहता नहीं है. But that state we are talking about a past habit that he used to do there. In the next example, an example for a habit, he used to go on holiday to Scotland every year. But that going to or going on a holiday to Scotland every year is not happening right now. That is a past habit. Let us understand the last concept of semi models. Semi means half. So here some of the models are there that can be used both as modal verb and main verbs. So these are called semi modals. For example, dare, need, used to, have to, many more. A large list of semi modals are there in English grammar.